A couple weeks ago, the Pretty Little Liars Summer School just wrapped up its second season of this new Pretty Little Liars anthology series. So I watched it, so let's review. Now I know some of y'all probably thinking, Brad, you watched this show? I'm like, yes, because for a long time, the original show, Pretty Little Liars, that ran on ABC Family for several years, it was my guilty pleasure show throughout college and even after I graduated college, once the show ended. I don't know what it is about this show. Maybe it was just watching these four girls trying to figure this shit out, or all four of the girls were beautiful women, and of course, all of them were well into their 20s when the show came out, and so they were not teenagers. But despite some of the inconsistencies and stuff within the show that just makes absolutely no sense, for some reason I just enjoy this show. But I will say, after this show ended, I was ready to be done with this. But of course, this wasn't the first time they tried to spin off the show. The first being Ravenswood, which only lasted one season, and honestly, I really didn't care for it. Then there was Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionist, which also lasts one season. And compared to Ravenswood, I was actually enjoying this and was a nice little take to continue the Pretty Little Liars franchise, but again, it only lasted one season. But then HBO Max gave us Pretty Little Liars Original Sin with a group of completely different and new girls. And honestly, I actually liked that first season. I thought the take of, the children paying for the sins of the mothers for something that the mothers did back in high school, I thought that was an interesting take and an interesting story to follow right there. And so when they announced that there was a second season, I'm like, okay, cool. At least this spinoff got past one season. But whether or not the season will be good, that's the real question. Now, with this season, the girls, they have to go to summer school because they missed out on a lot of schoolwork and failed a lot of classes because of everything they went through within that first season. And so now they're focusing on trying to get to the next grade within high school while also still trying to enjoy the summer. But then shit hits the fan and somebody's trying to get revenge for something that happened during the first season. But what I enjoyed most about this season was just the structure in which those first couple of episodes was just setting up the plot, and then throughout that, it is just each girl's going through something and they have to pass, and we go down the line of each of the girls. The first being Mouse, in which she's following this website called Spooky Spaghetti, in which it's horror based, and then she finds out information about Rose Waters, who is the mother of Archie, and then there's some copycat going around killing people and killing people that's close to him, and then she goes in too deep, and then she gets trapped into a fire, and now she has to get out. Then Farron, who I thought was actually an improvement upon her character in the first one because she was a ballerina dancer in the first season, and now here she is taking a summer job as a lifeguard, and she becomes captain, and then of course her being a black girl within among a lot of white guys, and she's trying to control anger, then you know how hard it is for a black woman to succeed in the world. But then of course she's also starting to bulk up and get more physical, and then her challenge is she has to do as many push-ups and among other exercises just to survive. And then once she goes through it, you just feel sorry for her. I'm like, oh baby girl, come on, you can do this. And then Noah, the Spanish girl, I thought they gave her a little bit more to do, though I do think she did some things that was a little out of character for her because she was in juvie, she just got out, and then she meets her lesbian lover, in which she already has a boyfriend, and then the two of them, they break up over some bullshit, and then she ends up going with the lesbian girl. But overall, her challenges are more so physical as well, in which she has to walk through the woods with her shoes off with a bunch of vines on the ground. And now we get down to the last two girls, in which I think this new version of A has done the most damage to, like Imogen, in which she is now an orphan, and then she was a pregnant teenager, and she had to give that baby away. And I will say, I do like how they reneged on giving the baby away to, spoiler alert, she gave the baby away to Ezra and Arya from the original show Pretty Little Liars, but I guess somebody realized, yeah, we're still not over Ezra because he basically prayed over a teenager in that original show. So I guess they're trying to correct some of the questionable stuff that happened in the original show. But with Imogen, she definitely goes through it because, of course, like I said, she lost her mother, she lost her house, she had to give the baby away, so she's trying to basically bring her life together, and then she doesn't trust anybody, especially her new boyfriend, which she works with, to the point where she's just hallucinating, and she don't know who to trust. And finally, Tabby, who is the one I probably relate to the most, not only because she's black, but she's a cinephile like me, but she definitely goes through it because she made a short film that is an allegory of everything her and her friend Imogen went through, because both of them were raped and the killer was killed, but then the killer's mother, well, not the killer, but their assaulter's mother. She doesn't believe that her son did those things, but they know what happened, so it just causes friction.
Hello there.
And that's the thing. One of the things I love about the show is that it does touch upon touchy topics that may be hard or triggering for some people to get through. Now, the other girl, Kelly, who was the twin sister of Karen from the first season, in which her twin sister got killed. So yeah, she definitely went through it, but I also did not trust her because she joined some super religious church cult, and but she did come around at the very end. And what the big reveal came out to be, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna just let you go see it for yourself. But once you saw the review, it kind of reminded me of Scream. I'm like, this is probably the best Scream movie I've seen in a while, and it's mainly because of all the work that went into the writing to lead up to this. Overall, this season turned out to be good. I'm kind of going back and forth on which season I liked the most, but I say this was definitely a worthy season two. I enjoyed it. This is still my guilty pleasure show. If you have issues with the show, hey, I completely understand. It was just entertaining from where I stand with it. And that's why I give Pretty Little Liars the thumbs up emoji.